Welcome guys once again to another vlog. As always, plenty going on as we all continue to head south, travelling through Morocco. From the beaches of Legzira all the way down to the dunes in the desert. This one promises a true adventure. Picking up from the last vlog, both of us had some minor repairs to be done on the vans. Elias had to change over a part related to the front axles. I'd had to once again replace a set of ball joints to the front suspension.
Doing his job. Unfortunately, my antics, or should we say our antics, because Elias is the other side of the camera, our antics have cost me a bit of flus, such as life. شكرا خويا. شكرا بزاف.
When we all got back to Aourir, I took the guys for a traditional Moroccan soup. I ended up having to eat everything I'd ordered as none of the guys liked it. On a more positive note, West Ham were on the telly, recording back-to-back wins after beating Leicester. Happy days. Been getting in quite a nice routine of surfing regularly, getting also to know the right times to surf, and good conditions best suited for what we need.
Living the life, man!
We'd had a really good session in the afternoon. I'd caught a couple of waves, so I was really buzzing. Making real slow progress, but progress nonetheless. I'd had a song in my head for the last half an hour when I was surfing. I made sure to play it just as I got out.
Nobody go crazy when I'm banging on my boogie. I'm the king without a crown, hanging loose in a big town. But I'm the king of bongo, baby, I'm the king of bongo.
That afternoon we headed up into the mountains to visit Paradise Valley, as the other guys wanted to check it all out. We made a plan to stay the night here, but just as we were having dinner, we were asked for more money by another parking guy. For this reason, we decided to move to a different spot, and here the guys come across this little puppy. He was hungry as his mother was very weak.
We'll take him home. Lemis.
The guys tried to bring the puppy to its mother, but she seemed to run away every time.
So we're in Paradise Valley last night. We paid the parking guy, we agreed 50 dirham to stay, the 3 vans for the night, right? Anyway, we're having dinner. Geezer's come over with a dog, massive dog. The dog started attacking the street dogs that were sort of laying out outside our vans, and he's demanding money off us. He's going, no, we're going, we already paid. You go, no, you paid the other geezer, you got to pay me now. Right, being proper aggressive, and I was like, mate, we've paid the geezer, like we've agreed 50 dirham for the night, and he's like, well, no, I'm the parking guy now, you got to pay me, like basically extorting money. So we've had to move last night. I'm not giving this geezer any money, especially these dogs. You know, like the dogs that were there, the street dogs, like they picked up the vibe of this dude, and they just they could feel it, and Maya could feel it, and it was like. The worst thing is that once something like that happens, it makes you uneasy, so it makes you think, well, we've got to move now, because you ain't going to sleep well, especially Evelina in the group, you know, a lady, like, so then we just had to move.
I somehow knew though that there was a reason why we were being moved on. That reason, of course, was that there was a puppy waiting to be rehomed. After that, David and Evelina spent some time in the city organising the papers and everything for the puppy. At this point, we made a plan to head further south from Agadir, driving towards a place called Belfa.
Heading south down now towards Tiznit, and then further tomorrow to Sidifini. It's the furthest south I've been actually since being in Morocco, so pretty happy with all that. A lot of rain came yesterday as well, so plenty of reasons to be heading south, following the sun. Let's go.
The next day we all met up about an hour north of Tiznit. We'd had a lot of heavy rain overnight. This continued on throughout the day. We came across this pack of dogs all trying to shelter from the rain, starving hungry. Fed them all as best we could, but some of them wouldn't come as they were too scared.
It's a real horrible morning this morning. We just woke up, had some eggs, and we're hitting the road heading towards the south.
So we hit the road once again, heading now towards Mirlift. The guys had come up with a plan for us to follow over the next few days, marking down some key spots we wanted to visit. We made sure we were all stocked up on fuel, as petrol stations in the south aren't as easy to find.
We are about 15 kilometres away from Mirlift, heading south now. Still grey skies, but the sun is trying to break through the clouds.
We decided not to stop at Mirlift, but instead go to a place called Legzira, known for its famous naturally formed arches and of course beautiful coastline. And with that we headed down to the beach below to get something to eat. We did also consider going for a surf, but the conditions weren't quite suited.
Legzira, we made it!
There's plenty of decent places to eat for cheap here on the beach. These places are especially good if you like to eat fresh fish. We managed to find a gap in the rain to sit and enjoy a decent meal overlooking the beach.
وهداك مزيان.
The rain came down again very heavy, so we let that pass as we played with the dogs and watched on as various people drove their motorbikes onto the beach on what seems to be a bit of a local trend. As the rain slowed down, we took this opportunity to walk down to the beach and see what we'd come for. These arches, which had formed naturally over many years, really were a special sight to be seen. Good to see as well the two dogs bonding together. Maya not sure at times what to make of it all.
We made it to this beautiful spot. It's very red rocks all around. Really incredible though. Really impressed with the whole shebang. Absolutely unreal.
After the visit to Legzira, we headed south to a parking just north of Sidifini and set up camp. I really liked this spot, one of my favourites of the trip for sure. Waking up the next morning, we came to realise there was another arch below us. A perfect view for the morning coffee in preparation for the many miles ahead. Arriving in Sidifini in the early afternoon, we headed to one of the local surf shops. Elias seemed determined to find himself a new board, having had one stolen previously. Sidifini holds an interesting history as it was under Spanish rule until 1969. Some of the buildings show signs of this. Here you can see a coat of arms on the former Spanish consulate building. We'd done a little tour of the town before settling on a spot with free parking close to the beach and in a good location. Once again, this brought back some fond memories of the last time I visited Sidifini. If anyone knows of any good spots to buy surfboards in Morocco, please get in touch, drop your comments in the box below, much love. We came to this quite famous restaurant and hotel here, opened in 1936. Of course, couldn't resist a decent game of pool. After witnessing this shot though, there was only going to be one winner. Sidifini also boasts a lot of beautiful shops where you can get jewellery, crockery and other beauty bits. Back on the move once again the next day as the guys had a bit of a schedule to hit the south. We followed this coastal road all the way along, targeting the famous White Beach, an hour or so south from Sidifini. It's great to observe the ever-changing climate all the way along, and of course good to do so with friends, making the whole experience that bit more enjoyable.
We're currently driving south now down towards Tantan. I'm not sure how far the guys plan on going down. Apparently there's a beautiful beach somewhere along here where we're going to check out, and then we're going to head into the desert. So we'll be driving about an hour south from Sidifini, so let's see.
Quick stop for a coffee and a break halfway along. We found this beautiful spot. At this point it was noticeable how few other cars there were on the roads. Anyhow, we made good ground arriving on schedule to observe yet another beautiful sunset. Morocco really never ceases to amaze me. This was to be my first real experience at seeing what I would regard as the beginning of the Sahara Desert.
There's a lot of wind today. We're going to try and head into there's like a little mini desert a bit further along, dunes. We're going to check these out now, the dunes, and then head to inland a little bit because there's a lot of wind. Surf's no good today, so.
We were back on the road, of course, next morning in what had seemed to be a bit of a relentless drive. The terrain now starting to change and the dust and wind starting to pick up a lot. En route we came across this fairly deep water that we had to ford. Fortunately the water was just about on the limit of what our vans would be capable of passing without any troubles. This was a welcome opportunity to clean the vans a little and get rid of some of the dust that had built up. Next challenge was some fairly deep sand which we had to pass through. As you can see, dust flying left, right and centre. This point here was more or less where the road ended and the dirt track began. The next part of the journey was quite difficult as you had to contend between closing the windows and getting hot or opening the windows and being covered in dust. Anyhow, we made it to the dunes and from here we continued by foot. One of the thoughts that did cross my mind as I was walking around was just how much we were dependent on the vehicles for our survival in this moment. It wasn't to be a very long stop here in the dunes as the sand was so intense, just made you want to naturally seek shelter from it. All in all, for me, it was well worth the effort coming down to this point. Quite a special place and such an extreme difference from what I'm used to. By the afternoon we were back on the road heading towards the town of Guelmim, fairly exhausted and covered in sand.
All the sand.
After the desert.
Wow, the desert, man.
Prayers.
The van's in need of a clean now. Wow, we made it, man.
This was to be the beginning of the journey back to the north. We had one more stop to make en route, which was of course Mirlift, where we'd skipped through on the way down. Unfortunately, we weren't able to surf on this occasion, as the conditions were quite poor. The locals we spoke to suggested that there's a chance this place would all be knocked down in the near future, once again related to the upcoming World Cup held here in 2030.
We found your board. We found the location of where to get a board.
Yeah, hopefully it's got some recommendations of Momo. This got our back, always.
We had a quick gander at the town, grabbing a bite to eat and getting some groceries.
Oh, he's going to check out another. Is it you checking out another board?
At this point, having covered nearly 700 kilometres without any problems at all, found ourselves stuck in the mud, close to Aourir where our journey began. It started with David, who then asked Aourir to pull him out, who then got stuck also.
This is what happens, bro. You fucking try and go too quick. Life fucks you. Right, David's got stuck in the mud. Elias has gone to pull him out. Elias has now got stuck. So let's see what I do.
No guesses there what was the result of my attempts to get the other two out.
3 out of 3, bingo.
Fortunately for us, a couple of local guys came to our aid, began digging us out and putting down wood to give more traction to the back wheels. A bit of a team effort was required. Once we were given the green light by the locals, we got Elias out.
Nice!
And began the same process to get David's and my van back on the road also.
I'm coming. Tactic خويا معلم I saved the day.
Let's go dig
Yeah, lala.
So after 2 weeks on the road, a multitude of new places explored, and plenty of stories to tell, we made it back to familiar ground. A big thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to drop a like, leave a comment, and if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. A big shout out to all the guys I've been travelling with over the last few weeks, it's been amazing. And of course, stay tuned for more adventures coming soon.